The Marixi considered themselves masters of the universe, their crystalline ships gliding through space like ethereal predators. They had built their empire not through innovation, but through what they euphemistically called technological redistribution. Admiral Vexer stood on the bridge of the Stellar Seeker, his iridescent scales shifting colors as he reviewed the latest discovery from their Earth observation post. "Fascinating," he murmured, multiple eyes focusing on the holographic display. "These humans have managed to create stable antimatter containment fields using only their primitive understanding of quantum mechanics." His second-in-command, Commander Zura, coiled her serpentine body in agreement. "Their achievement is unexpected," she admitted, her voice carrying the harmonics typical of their species, "especially considering they haven't even colonized their own solar system yet." The Marixi High Council of Acquisition had gathered in their orbital sanctuary above their homeworld, Merix Prime. The chamber, constructed from living crystal that pulsed with bioluminescent light, housed the 12 most powerful members of their species. They watched footage of human scientists working in their laboratories, completely unaware of the alien eyes studying their every move. "These containment fields," Council Leader Thax announced, his scales shimmering with authority, "represent a significant leap forward in antimatter technology. The humans' approach is unorthodox, but brilliant in its simplicity." He paused, allowing his words to resonate through the chamber. "Naturally, they cannot be allowed to retain it." The council members' scales flickered in agreement. In their minds, the logic was impeccable. A species that hadn't even achieved faster-than-light travel couldn't possibly be trusted with such powerful technology. It was their duty, their right, to claim it for the greater good of the galaxy. Within hours, the Marixi launched Operation Silent Scale. Their stealth ships, wrapped in quantum camouflage fields that bent light and gravity around them, slipped through Earth's defensive network with practiced ease. Teams of skilled acquisitors, wearing suits that phased them partially out of normal spacetime, infiltrated research facilities in Houston, Beijing, and Geneva simultaneously. The actual theft took exactly 6 minutes and 12 seconds. The Marixi were nothing if not efficient. They extracted the antimatter containment units, replaced them with convincing duplicates that would dissolve into harmless base elements within a few days, and vanished back to their ships without triggering a single alarm. As per standard protocol, they left behind their calling card, a crystalline sphere that projected a message in all Earth languages. "Your technology has been requisitioned by the Marixi Empire for the greater benefit of galactic civilization. Resistance is unnecessary. Compensation will be determined by the Bureau of Primitive Species Development." Admiral Vexer personally supervised the installation of the stolen technology in their primary research facility on Merix Prime. "Another successful acquisition," he declared, his scales glowing with pride. "The humans will likely spend months trying to understand what happened. By then, we'll have fully integrated their technology into our systems." But in a secure facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Director James Martinez of the United Earth Defense Initiative stared at the crystalline sphere with an expression that would have worried the Marixi deeply, had they been there to see it. He turned to his assembled team of military commanders and scientists. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his voice calm but carrying an edge of satisfaction, "Operation Honeypot is officially active. The Marixi took exactly what we wanted them to take." Dr. Kira O'Sullivan, head of quantum engineering, allowed herself a small smile. "Those containment fields weren't just storing antimatter," she explained to the gathered officials. "They were storing something far more valuable, a quantum virus that's been waiting for precisely this kind of theft. The Marixi just introduced our Trojan horse directly into their most secure facility." Across the globe, hidden facilities hummed to life, implementing protocols that had been prepared for decades. Humanity had long suspected they weren't alone in the universe, and they had planned accordingly. The Marixi were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating primitive species. They had just stolen from the wrong planet. In the 2 weeks following the theft, The Merixi observed Earth's response with smug satisfaction. Their sensors detected increased activity at military installations, frantic diplomatic communications between nations, and what they interpreted as panic among the scientific community. Everything was proceeding exactly as it had with countless other civilizations they had helped throughout the galaxy. What they failed to notice was that this panic was precisely choreographed. Deep within the quantum-shielded chambers of the Global Defense Network's headquarters, Director Martinez stood before a holographic display showing the status of Operation Honeypot. Representatives from Earth's major powers gathered around the circular table, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of the projections. The quantum virus has successfully integrated with their systems, Dr. O'Sullivan reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Every time they analyze the stolen containment technology, it spreads further into their network. They're doing our work for us, trying to reverse engineer what they stole. General Wei Chen of the Asian Coalition leaned forward, his weathered face reflecting years of military experience. And they suspect nothing. Less than nothing, replied Colonel Maya Patel, head of cyber operations. They're so convinced of their technological superiority that they're not even looking for conventional security measures, let alone the quantum-entangled programs we've hidden in the containment fields. The stolen technology was humanity's masterpiece of deception. For decades, Earth's best minds had worked to create the perfect bait, technology that seemed revolutionary but incomplete, designed specifically to appeal to civilizations that would be tempted to steal it. The antimatter containment fields were real, but they were merely the shell hiding humanity's true achievement. In orbit around Earth's moon, previously dormant satellites began shifting positions, their true nature hidden by sophisticated holographic camouflage. The Lunar Defense Base, officially listed as an abandoned mining operation, powered up systems that made the Merixi's stealth technology look primitive in comparison. Phase 2 is ready to initiate, announced Admiral Helena Rodriguez, her voice carrying the weight of 2 decades of preparation for this moment. The quantum virus has mapped 90% of their core systems. We can now see everything they can see, access everything they can access. On the main screen, a real-time map of the Merixi Empire's military installations appeared, their defenses laid bare by humanity's hidden technology. Every ship movement, every secure transmission, every classified research project, all of it now visible to human eyes. They still think we're sending desperate messages to their Bureau of Primitive Species Development, Martins said, allowing himself a small smile. Little do they know, each transmission contains quantum-encrypted commands that further embed our control protocols into their networks. In their arrogance, the Merixi had failed to realize a fundamental truth about humanity. Paranoia had long ago evolved into preparation. Every scientific breakthrough publicly displayed was matched by 3 hidden ones. Every visible defense system had invisible counterparts. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for first contact, developing technologies in secret, while maintaining a carefully crafted appearance of being less advanced than they truly were. Aboard the Stellar Seeker, Admiral Vexer received the latest analysis of the stolen technology. Remarkable, he declared, his scales shifting to colors of satisfaction. These humans achieved this level of antimatter control through brute force experimentation. Imagine what we can accomplish by applying our superior understanding. Commander Zira coiled thoughtfully. Should we be concerned about their attempts to contact our bureau? Hardly, Vexer replied, his scales flickering with amusement. They're behaving exactly like every other primitive species we've enlightened. Soon they'll accept their place in the galactic order. At that very moment, Dr. O'Sullivan was completing the final preparations for humanity's response. The quantum virus had finished its work, creating backdoors into every major system in the Merixi Empire. Their entire civilization was now running on code they couldn't detect, couldn't understand, and couldn't remove. All systems are in place, she announced to the assembled leaders. We can shut down their entire empire with a single command. Director Martinez nodded gravely. Initiate Phase 3. Let's show the Marixi exactly how primitive we are. The trap was set. The hunters were about to become the hunted, and they didn't even know it yet. Humanity's first official act on the galactic stage would not be one of submission, but of demonstration. A clear message to any other civilizations that might be watching. Earth was not to be underestimated. The Marixi Empire's capital world sparkled like a jewel in space, its crystalline cities reflecting the light of 3 suns. In the central command spire, Admiral Vexer was preparing to deliver his report on the successful acquisition of Earth's antimatter technology to the High Council when everything changed. It started with a flicker, barely noticeable, in the quantum communication networks. Then, one by one, the holographic displays throughout the capital began showing an unexpected message in perfect Marixian script. Thank you for beta testing Earth's quantum integration protocols. Your systems have been successfully mapped. For the first time in his long career, Vexer felt his scales shift to the color of uncertainty. Impossible, he whispered, but the word had barely left his mouth when every screen, every display, every communication device in the Marixi Empire simultaneously activated. Director Martinez's face appeared on all of them, his expression calm but resolute. Greetings, citizens of the Marixi Empire. I am the director of Earth's Defense Initiative. We appreciate your thorough analysis of our antimatter containment technology. You've helped us complete the largest systems integration test in human history. In the quantum-shielded command center beneath the Rockies, Dr. O'Sullivan's fingers danced across her console. All Marixi military vessels are now under our auxiliary control, she reported. Their weapons systems, engines, and stealth technology are responding to our commands. To demonstrate this point, every Marixi warship in their home system suddenly engaged their engines, forming a massive Earth symbol visible from their capital surface. The display of power was both elegant and terrifying. Commander Zira, watching from Central Command, felt her coils tighten with dawning horror. How did they achieve this level of control? The answer came from Colonel Patel, her image replacing Martinez's on the screens. Your empire has spent centuries perfecting the art of stealing technology. We spent those same centuries perfecting the art of turning theft against the thieves. Every piece of technology you've stolen from Earth was designed to be stolen, each carrying dormant quantum protocols that have now fully integrated with your systems. In the council chamber, the Marixi leadership watched in stunned silence as their most secure networks displayed detailed schematics of their own classified installations. But these weren't just schematics. They were active control interfaces, now firmly in human hands. Your entire civilization runs on quantum processors, Dr. O'Sullivan explained, her voice carrying a hint of professional pride. We simply provided you with quantum processors designed to communicate with ours. You did the rest by connecting them to your networks. Admiral Rodriguez's fleet, hidden behind Luna, finally revealed itself. The ships that emerged made the Marixi vessels look primitive in comparison, sleek, dark hulls that seemed to absorb light, powered by the true version of the antimatter technology the Marixi had thought they'd stolen. We could shut down your entire empire, Martinez continued, his voice level. Every ship, every defense system, every power grid. But that's not our goal. Consider this a demonstration and an invitation to reevaluate your approach to interstellar relations. The Marixi High Council, their scales now shifting through patterns of fear and disbelief, received a detailed inventory of every piece of technology their empire had stolen from other civilizations over the centuries. Alongside it was a proposed restitution plan, already being implemented through the very networks they had thought secure. Your Bureau of Primitive Species Development will be transformed, Martinez announced. Under Earth's oversight, it will become a legitimate technological exchange program. All species you've stolen from will be compensated, and future advancements will be shared through proper diplomatic channels. In a private channel to Admiral Vexer, Director Martinez added a personal message. We've studied your people's history. You began stealing technology because your own scientific development had stagnated. You forgot that true innovation comes from the challenge of discovery, not the ease of theft. We're offering you a chance to remember that lesson. The Marixi Empire, which had spent millennia as the galaxy's greatest thieves, now found themselves in an unprecedented position, having to ask permission to use their own technology. Earth, the supposedly primitive world they had thought to exploit, had turned their greatest strength into their greatest vulnerability. As the human fleet moved into position around key Marixi worlds, Admiral Rodriguez transmitted the final message. Welcome to the galactic community. As equals, not conquerors. We look forward to genuine cooperation, once you've demonstrated you can be trusted with it. The age of technological theft was over. A new era of galactic relations was about to begin, shaped by the species that had pretended to be primitive while preparing to reshape the stars. The following days in the Marixi Empire could only be described as chaos, but a very ordered, human-supervised kind of chaos. Every attempt by hardcore elements of the Marixi military to regain control of their systems failed spectacularly, often ending with the embarrassing sight of warships performing synchronized dance maneuvers in space, courtesy of Dr. O'Sullivan's apparently twisted sense of humor. In the Imperial Palace, now surrounded by hovering human sentinel drones that had somehow been there undetected for months, the High Council struggled to adapt to their new reality. Council leader Thax, his scales a muted gray of resignation, faced the holographic projection of Director Martinez. "You've had this level of technology all along," Thax stated, not really a question. "The antimatter containment system we stole was the equivalent of leaving out a piece of cheese to catch a mouse," Martins confirmed. Though in this case, the cheese contained a quantum GPS tracker, a remote control system, and a complete network infiltration package. In the Earth Defense Initiative's command center, Colonel Patul was leading the effort to catalog and redistribute the Marixi's stolen technology. Her team had uncovered thousands of artifacts taken from hundreds of civilizations, many of whom had been left struggling to recover from the theft of their most important innovations. The Centaurians would like their gravity manipulation technology back, she reported to Martins during a brief break. And the Proxima Coalition is particularly interested in reclaiming their quantum communication arrays. Admiral Vexer, once the proud leader of the Marixi acquisition fleets, found himself in the unprecedented position of having to personally apologize to representatives of species his people had stolen from. The humans had made it a condition of their continued technological autonomy, what little of it they still had. The hardest part, he admitted to Commander Zira during a private moment, his scales shifting through shades of embarrassment, is that they're being so damnably reasonable about it all. No revenge, no humiliation, just extremely thorough oversight and rehabilitation. Indeed, humanity's approach to their victory was proving almost more devastating than the victory itself. Instead of crushing the Marixi, they were transforming them. Dr. O'Sullivan's team had begun offering workshops to Marixi scientists, teaching them the fundamentals of genuine research and development. "Your species has incredible potential for innovation," she explained to a group of young Marixi researchers, their scales brightening with unexpected hope. "You just got stuck in a cycle of theft because it seemed easier than doing the work. But the work, that's where the real advancement happens." The human fleet, still maintaining its position around key Marixi worlds, had become a symbol not of oppression but of change. Admiral Rodriguez had ordered her ships to assist with humanitarian efforts, helping to stabilize systems that had been disrupted by the sudden technological reorganization. "Consider this tough love on a galactic scale," she told her officers. "We're not here to destroy them. We're here to help them become better." In a secure conference room aboard the human flagship, Director Martinez met face-to-face with Council Leader Thax for the first time. The Marixi leader's scales had taken on a new pattern, one that the human xenobiologists identified as indicating deep contemplation. "We've reviewed your species' early history," Thax said quietly. "Your own nations once stole technology from each other, yet you evolved beyond it. How?" Martinez smiled. We learned that innovation breeds innovation. When you steal technology, you only get the end product. When you develop it yourself, you get something far more valuable, the understanding that lets you take it further. The conversation was interrupted by Dr. O'Sullivan's urgent call. Director, we've detected unauthorized access attempts to the quantum control systems. A group of hardcore traditionalists among the Marixi military. They're trying to override our protocols. Martinez looked at Thax, whose scales flushed with anger, not at the humans, but at his own people. Give me a channel to address the Empire, the Marixi leader demanded. It's time we accepted our new reality. As Thax prepared to address his people, Martinez reflected on how the greatest victories sometimes came not from destroying an enemy, but from transforming them into something better. The Marixi Empire was dying, but from its ashes, something new and potentially wonderful was emerging, a civilization ready to earn its place among the stars, rather than steal it. 1 year after humanity's dramatic revelation of their true capabilities, the Galactic Conference for Technological Cooperation convened in Earth's orbital station Unity. The massive structure, revealed to have been hidden in plain sight behind complex quantum camouflage for decades, served as a powerful symbol of humanity's preparation and foresight. The conference chamber was filled with representatives from over 300 species, many of whom had once been victims of Marixi theft. But the mood wasn't one of recrimination. Instead, there was an atmosphere of cautious optimism. Council leader Thax, his scales now permanently shifted to the patterns of wisdom and humility, stood before the assembled delegates. A year ago, my people thought we were the most advanced civilization in this sector of the galaxy, he began, his voice carrying across the chamber. We were wrong, not just about our technological superiority, but about the very nature of progress itself. Dr. O'Sullivan, sitting beside Director Martinez, pulled up a holographic display showing the remarkable developments of the past year. Under human guidance, the Marixi had begun developing their own technology for the first time in centuries. Their first independently created innovation, a crystalline computing system that merged their natural affinity for crystal structures with genuine computational advances, was already proving revolutionary. The most fascinating aspect, she whispered to Martinez, is how quickly they're advancing now that they're actually doing the work themselves. Their understanding of crystalline structures, combined with real research instead of theft, is producing results we never expected. Commander Zora, now serving as the head of the new Marixi Science Academy, took the podium next. Her scales rippled with pride, not the old arrogance of the Empire, but genuine satisfaction in earned achievement. We've discovered something our ancestors forgot, she announced. The joy of discovery, the thrill of solving problems through our own efforts. Yes, it's harder than stealing solutions from others. But the results? She gestured to a demonstration of their latest project, a sustainable energy system that could power entire planets without damaging native ecosystems. Admiral Rodriguez, watching from her flagship now permanently stationed near Earth, smiled as she reviewed the reports. The Marixi fleet, once the scourge of developing civilizations, had been transformed into a peacekeeping force. Their ships, redesigned through genuine cooperation between human and Marixi engineers, now protected the very species they once preyed upon. In the end, she mused to her crew, we didn't just stop them from stealing. We showed them why they didn't need to steal in the first place. The conference reached its climax with the signing of the Galactic Technology Sharing Accord. Under its terms, all species would contribute to and benefit from a shared pool of scientific knowledge. But unlike the Marixi's former theft-based system, this exchange would be based on mutual respect, proper attribution, and collaborative development. Colonel Patel's team had finished the massive project of returning stolen technology to its rightful owners, but with an unexpected twist. Many species, seeing the Marixi's genuine transformation, had chosen to engage in technology exchange programs instead of simple restitution. They're learning from each other now, she reported. The Centaurians are working with Marixi crystal experts to enhance their gravity manipulation systems. The Proxima Coalition is collaborating on combining their quantum communication technology with Marixi crystalline matrices. It's exactly what we hoped for. In a private moment during the conference, Director Martinez found facts staring out at Earth through the station's quantum-clear windows. The Marixi leader's scales showed a pattern that human xenobiologists had never seen before. Do you know what the hardest lesson was? Fax asked quietly. Not the humiliation of being outmaneuvered, or the shock of discovering how far behind we really were. It was realizing that we had become the very thing we once despised, a civilization so convinced of its own superiority that we couldn't see our own stagnation. Martinez nodded. The greatest technologies aren't the ones you can steal. They're the ones that change how you think. As the conference concluded, a new message replaced the old Marixi acquisition notifications throughout their former empire. The Marixi Cooperative stands ready to learn, to teach, and to grow, together with all species who share the stars. The galaxy had changed. The empire of thieves had become a civilization of innovators. And humanity, stepping out of the shadows of its carefully maintained disguise, had proved that true power lies not in taking from others, but in helping them become better than they ever thought they could be.